First of all, I remember last time when we spoke, you said that the April sugar domestic demand is down by nearly 40%. What are the May trends looking to you like right now?
Yeah, good morning, Manisha. As the lockdown started in the end of March, and we saw a big drop in our demand, especially from the large consumers, the bulk consumers, the industrial houses. And that trend, the drop continued till the latter part of April. And from the last week of April, when the new lockdown started and there were some kind of relaxations which were being given, we saw some of the demand coming back. And in the month of May, we are seeing that more and more relaxations are coming up. And the large houses, the big industrial houses are coming back, and they are trying to start their factories. We are seeing the ice cream retailers in the market. We are seeing biscuits coming back in the market. We are seeing the beverages, the juices all coming back in the market. So we are seeing the retail starting, the factories starting, in whatever way, and that therefore we are seeing the demand crawling back. I wouldn't say that it's already normal, but it's much better than what we saw in the month of April.
Avinash, because April you said was 40% lower. What's your sense on May? Are you willing to put out a number?
Very difficult to put out my number. I have to take the feedback from the sugar mills, how they are feeling the trend is, because there was a mixed trend in the previous month. There were some regions in the country which said that we have sold 80%, 90%. Some regions said that we have sold 60% of our quota.
Okay.
But in the month of May, obviously it will be not as bad. I mean, if the drop in the sales was by 40% last month, it's going to be much less than that this month. To say it's going to be 20% or 10%, I don't know. I mean, that I'll probably come back in the next interview that I have with you.
All right. The other thing is that we also saw the exports come to a halt in the last couple of months. Do you see that picking up in the month of May? What is the status on that? Because we do understand that there are labor, transport issues, etc. We do understand that Isma is speaking to JNPT. That is where nearly 25% of India's sugar exports take place from. So what is the status on that?
Yes, Manisha, there has been problems as far as logistics are concerned. Now that the migrant labor are all trying to go back, there is a shortage of labor at the port. So the loading, unloading and all are kind of facing problems already there. So the load rate at which we used to load in the vessels is much slower. So there is a fear of demurrage also at the ports. But having said that, as you correctly mentioned, the international demand has already started picking up. So the demand is much more than what we are able to offer to the exporters today. So there is a demand, but because there are logistical issues, and as you are correct, that JNPT is quite badly affected. From JNPT, we generally export white sugar in containers. So we are finding some problems in getting the containers or moving the containers. There is some problem in loading the containers at the port.
Okay.
But I believe that the government is already intervening and trying to solve those problems. But yes, there is a problem.
Avinash, a final question. What is your sense on the output for sugar into this year? We understand whatever the number is the lowest in 3 years. What is that number? Two, what do you see in sense of prices? Because when you say international demand is looking better, when the demand comes back in the Indian markets as well, what kind of price view are we looking at for the next couple of months, next quarter?
Yes, let me talk about the sugar production this year. We had estimated 26.5 million tons this year. And my last production numbers that we had calculated till the 15th of May, we have crossed 26.5 million tons. That is mainly because the Khansari and gur manufacturers in Uttar Pradesh had closed their factories, and that sugar cane was diverted to the sugar mills. And therefore, some 40-45 sugar mills are still running in Uttar Pradesh. And therefore, I personally believe, I still have to get the approval of my board in Isma, I personally believe that we should be kind of touching 27 million tons and closing at 20. We should not be crossing 27 by a very big number. So 27 million tons this year. With regard to exports, we are already seeing some kind of a recovery in the international prices. There is still a good demand which is coming for India from Iran and Indonesia. Probably I explained last time that Iran is kind of compelled to import sugar from India, and Indonesia is not finding enough sugar because Thailand's production has dropped. So these two countries will continue to give us the demand in the next 3-4 months, if not more. Indonesia should be giving a big demand next year also. So these two countries are giving a slight premium to Indian sugar over the global prices. So that is what we are seeing. But as and when the market opens up and the lockdown is lower in India and the world starts moving, petrol consumption increases, the ethanol prices improve, I believe that the global sugar prices will also improve.